So let's talk about intuition. What is intuition? Why is intuition important? Intuition is all about you. It's all about you. It's all about you. Okay? So I want to make that very clear because there are individuals that think developing their intuition is going to allow them to read other people and talk to other people and do all of these different things. And honestly, you won't know your level of discernment. Remember that discernment until you start working, until you start utilizing your connection. Okay. I feel like intuition is something that's natural. Like it's something that's natural to all of us. I don't really think it's anything that you can train on. I think that you can fine tune it, but you can't really train it into yourself. It's something that's natural to you. I think when it comes to intuition, it's all about learning how to remember how to utilize it versus develop it. Okay. Now there are different levels of discernment. So, and people place a lot of titles on a lot of stuff, whether you're psychic or prophet or medium or channel or whatever. And it's cool because I think different people have different workings of the spirit. Different people can work differently in the spirit, which is great. You have to learn that. That's something you have to learn, and it takes patience and persistence. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. Okay. So your intuition is like your spiritual GPS. It's that thing that tells you go left when you think you're supposed to go right, or go right when you think you're supposed to go left. You know, it tells you when someone is about to call you and you're like, dang it, I was just thinking about you, or you run into that individual. Your intuition is always speaking to you. But now listen, intuition is a very low voice. Intuition is like, hello, hello, hello. Where, let's think of it like this. Your ego is like, yo, what's up? You need to do this now. Your ego is very impulsive. Your intuition is not. Okay, there's different aspects of an individual, whether it's your conscious mind, your higher self, your lower self, your unconscious mind, your ego, id. You have different aspects. So in order to really develop your intuition, you have to learn about yourself first. You have to begin to develop yourself. I think spiritual development, personal development, self-development, intuitive development, I think it all works hand in hand. I don't think you can separate it. So I think if you separate it, that's what we would consider more psychic development. Another key point that I think is very important, just because you are gifted does not mean you're spiritual. So don't think just because a person can see and they could tell you some really great things about yourself that they're spiritual. Okay? You could be extremely spiritual, very connected, and not be that gifted. So it's a lot of things because intuition for me equals awareness. Okay? So your intuition is nothing but an expanded awareness that's constantly around you, that's always moving. So individuals can always pick up on other people's electromagnetic fields. So it's kind of like people say reading your mind or telepathy or this. But just know that we're always sending information and we're always getting information. And now energy is changing so much. It has changed dramatically that I think the veil is a lot thinner and I think energy is a lot higher than how it used to be. So you can pick up certain things and sense certain things, or you can even be very empathic and walk into a room and, you know, most of the time you can tell how somebody's feel. Like you can feel the anger or the frustration, or you can see other people's or sense other people's intentions, if they're good, if they're not so good. But the thing is that a lot of times we don't pay attention to what we actually feel because we're not honest with ourselves. Key. You have to be honest with yourself in order to really begin the process of listening and utilizing your intuition. Something that's so natural to you. That's a gift. It's a gift in and of itself because it's a gift of truth, of telling you the truth, of leading you to the truth. You know, there's so many skeptics and so many people, but everybody knows that we all have instinct. And women have a woman's intuition. They just know when that baby is not right. They could be downstairs and they could just feel something. And right when they go upstairs and go check on their child is waking up and they're about to cry. This is it's an awareness. It's a gift. It's something that's so sacred. So I think of it as sacred. Now, when you move into different levels of it, like mediumship or channeling or prophetic ability, I think those are all different channels and vibratory frequencies on a different dial. Okay, so it's like a radio. You have the low numbers and you have the high numbers. Okay, so I think that it can be like intuition, empathic, sensitive, psychic, medium, channeler, prophet. You know, I think it moves like that. You know, I think it's like this, meaning one gift is not above another gift, but they all work different. They all work at a different vibratory frequency. Everybody can't reach every last vibratory frequency. God has basically gave us all something that's very unique to us. But what you can do is you can learn how to sit with yourself, to listen to yourself, so that you can learn how to utilize your spiritual GPS in your life. Now, It takes time to develop. You know, again, this is not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's a process. It takes time. You know, these are the things like that I work with in coaching or in these classes that I do and in this group that we have, you know, on Facebook. This is what I'm always trying to work on. And it's I think it's key to living your most fulfilled life, to having that peace, to being one with yourself. Like people always ask me, how did I develop mine? For me, it happened, you know, and I will always say a lot of times individuals that are gifted and they're aware and you feel like, oh my God, they just have this gift. A lot of times, sometimes, from my experience, it has come from trauma. So my trauma was losing someone that was very, very close to me. You were read or listen to other people's stories, they became aware, they began to search out their intuition or their spiritual gifts or their spiritual reality when something tragic happened to them in life. Now, what they will also say is that I had instances of when things would happen to me that were strange before, but I never paid attention to it. So with your intuition, or now after this tragedy, or after this thing, excuse me, after this thing happened, you now pay attention. You now are aware. Again, intuition equals expanded awareness. Okay? We're not talking about the new age type thing. I'm talking about something that's natural to all of us, whether it's your inner voice, whether it's your gut feeling, whether it's that something, that thing that we say, something told me not to do it, something told me that something wasn't right, something told me, whatever. Is this a process and a gift that I feel God gave us to lead us to our awareness of who we are, of ourselves, that expanded awareness to see beyond the limitations of our physical senses. There's so many different levels to this, whether it's, oh my gosh, it's so much. I'll have to make another video. I don't want this video to be like an hour long. So I'm going to just keep it there and keep it basic. But send me your questions. Like, let's talk about intuition. Let's talk about what it is. And let's talk about how it worked for you. So if you like this, share it. Subscribe to the channel, Jonathan Harris TV. Comment. Let me know. You can even send me an email, jonathanlharris@live.com or info@jonathanharris. Well, actually, I don't even know that email address. Use the other one I just told you. Let's talk. All right.